Hi to you, troops. How's it going today? How's it going today? Or I should say the night. I suppose I should say the night. So it's because it's the fucking evening. So, hello. Hi to you, troops. How's it going? Alright, pals. Alright, my pals. So, it's Glasgow Genuine here. Glasgow Genuine, as you know, in traffic Coney. Aye. And Celtic Dafty. You know. Hey, yeah, you with the sad face, come on to my place, let's live it up. You beside the dance floor, what do you cry for? Let's live it up. Woo! Oh, Celtic, Glasgow Celtic, woo! Alright, I know, I'm mental and crazy. I know, sorry, I'm mental and crazy. So it's Glasgow, I'm Celtic. I'd love to scream, I'd love to shout together with Celtic fans and be in that Celtic park or whatever with Celtic folk, but Celtic, and then with Celtic everywhere and then shouting with them. I know I'm mental and crazy. I know, but alright, I know. But I love Glasgow, I love Celtic, I'd love to be the very same. So it's Glasgow, so it's Celtic, so Celtic fans. I'd love to, man, seriously. So, it's Glasgow Genuine here. And the Celtic Dafty telling you, alright, my pals, in my traffic con, in my Celtic, scarf, as you know. Alright, so, as you know, Celtic won 2 matches. I mean, I'd love to sum it up for you. 2 matches of Celtic in Champions League, and the one is Scottish Premiership, the next one. So as you know, Celtic beat one of the best teams in Germany in Champions League. Celtic beats the best team in Germany, RB Leipzig, in Champions League, man. 3-1. What a match that was. Troops, my emotions were painting up. I was so pure emotional. I was buzzing, man. I was buzzing, seriously. But I was just, whoa, what a match that is, And what a great performance of Celtic that was, And what a match that was, my dear Celtic fellow fans, And I was shouting with my hoops. We was shouting Glasgow Celtic, whoa! And then, so I can somehow imagine it, and what a match that was. Impeccable, pure the brown performance of Celtic. Because you know, it's not just a result what matters. It's not just a result. It's the performance of the team that matters as well. So, result of Celtic equals performance of Celtic. So, when that's working, these 2 things, that's right. But it's not always works. It not always works. So, but Celtic is a champion, man. Celtic is a champion. So, we Celtic loyal fans will be always by Celtic. We're always stunning by Celtic, because So, what a pure, impeccable, performance of Celtic in Champions League with RB Leipzig. The best team in Bundesliga. Celtic just dismantled them again, 3-1 in Champions League. So, what pure the brilliant match that was, And then it was a pure the brilliant troops, impeccable attacking football, pressure, composure, and defence of Celtic. All things were pure fucking fantastic in the match without Champions League with RB Leipzig, Among the standouts were the American centre back Austin Trusty, and playable Nicholas Kuhn, and as you know, majestic Rio Hatate, and of course Callum McGregor, the captain. Nicholas Kuhn strikes 2 goals. Rio Hatate once. 1 goal. But Callum McGregor's great captain. Second to none. Callum McGregor is second to none. You should admit it, troops. And my fellow Celtic fans. So, McGregor's leadership, vision of sheer skills were immense, and just passing stats were outrageously, good. If I'm being honest, I'm more optimistic. I'm just optimistic and more optimistic now about our future and that I would probably have ever been. So there's one correct move that I clapped myself before, and outside nonsense, as you know, starts. We need to get Brendan Rodgers signed an extended contract as soon as possible. Since his return, the development of the team has been extraordinary. This is the most excited I've been about Celtic since the O'Neill era. Man, what a match that was, and the atmosphere. The atmosphere at Celtic Park, it's second to none. You can't just compare it to any other atmosphere, to any other stadium. The Celtic Park is the fucking best, man. Second to none, the atmosphere, the vibes, Celtic fans, the best. Celtic club, Celtic FC, the club like no other, the best one, a Celtic Park, the best stadium in the world, not just in Europe, in the globe, man, So. Let me add you something, honestly don't think that I've seen a complete Celtic display. It was a great performance with no flaws at all. Everything was perfect, man, pure perfection. Because there was a great, flawless Celtic performance. And that match, Champions League match, with RB Leipzig, that was so flawless match. And European game. Tactical state was spot on, and the way Brendan Rodgers was a perfect blend, a aggressive attack with defensive sound structure. So after a Dortmund game, I just said he wanted to be more effective, pressing. And last night, he pressed and worked wonders, and they were endlessly. So pressing a day, but last night, with their Bundesliga, at least it looked exhausted. Celtic dismantled. We had random ragged, So that game was a resounding validation of managers' strategy, and then team building and tactical vision. There was a question and the tactics of after Dortmund. I was among them. So how I praise concerns, but in some ways we are also wrong. What I should tell you about is that was a fucking phenomenal, man, impeccable performance of Celtic. That's what defines our real champions with Celtic. But as you know, troops, as you know, Celtic has as well bad moments. I mean, no good days. Especially after international breaks, the international games and the after Europe games, such as and Champions League. So people can't just demand for Celtic to be perfect all the time, because as a true fan, as a real and loyal Celtic supporter, you have to stand by your team, stand by Celtic till the end, support Celtic. Support Celtic, especially when Celtic is struggling, not just in the moments of triumph and victory, and especially when Celtic is struggling. So Celtic can have bad days and as well good days. So Celtic has hundreds of faces, so is Glasgow. The Celtic has has a fucking pure brilliant performance, but sometimes it's poor, so is the day. But that's Celtic. That's Celtic you support, so you should support them all the way. So I'd love to comment to you, the today's match with Kilmarnock. As you know, Kilmarnock is a poor team, no future at all, in my opinion, in my view. So, but the day Celtic had a poor game, I have to admit it with my greeting and the goping heart. I have to admit it, that Celtic has a poor game day, but great result anyway. Celtic got 3 points, so Celtic is still a leader. Aye man. Celtic is still a leader. You dancer, man, you fucking dancer. So Celtic is still a leader. It's on the top of the table, and that beating everyone, beating any other clubs. So, but Celtic sometimes has a good days, as I mentioned, and bad days. But the day was just a great result, pure brilliant result. But consistency was poor, defense was poor. Then the attacking football was poor, composure is poor. That happens when Celtic is Celtic has hundreds of games, and then had to play hundreds of games, and then after international break or Champions League games or Europe games, that happens, man. That happens. You can't just Celtic after one match, after one worse match, because Celtic is a champion, is a club you support, so you can't just Celtic because of one bad match. So, let me troops commented to you a wee bit, because hero of the match was Callum McGregor. I definitely Callum McGregor. I was shouting Celtic, Glasgow Celtic, whoa! So Callum McGregor, my role model, and the the greater leader and the captain of Celtic has ever been. And so he was a hero of the first half. He just struck the goal at the end of the first half, man. And then Kuhn, right in the end, almost in the end of the second half, he struck the goal. So that was Kuhn, McGregor and Kuhn. Here's the match. Aye! And the day, please my honours, the Kasper Schmeichel, as our great Celtic goalkeeper. So I can admit that he was a great one. He had a lot to play into the day, but this big fellow, he did more just back his gloves in anticipation that he's a day. So, but he came focused and prepared and did exactly what you pay a top class keeper today. And he kept it out on the one. The strikers had second game in the back of the and other end. So, as you know. What I have to add is this is how you win leagues. Days like the day, Celtic Kilmarnock, days like the day, this is how you win leagues. Keepers like that, like Schmeichel, the whole game coming down the performance of the team, of which a keeper is just one with Pat. He has to do his bit, and the captain has to do his bit. And your best attacking players have to do theirs. A big day at the end of big 7 days. So it's no surprise that the keeper has won the man of match. So as we've taken at points, if you get a striker man like that, how you turn game, as you get a keeper, I say words for keeping it until you get in front. So and any other narrative the media wants to promote, it's nonsense. Those media always be. It strikes me, it struck me that how media can mix Celtic with mad or run Celtic down, especially the media love that one. Media love that situations when Celtic just Celtic is losing, or Celtic had a poorer day, but poor day like that one day and this much. Media fucking love this, fucking love it, but I don't get it. Media don't praise Celtic, and media don't show Celtic when Celtic is has a success, whereas Celtic is had a victory, Celtic has got a victory, Celtic has won a trophy, Celtic has won a game. Media just remain silent. I don't get it, but fucking perverts. You should listen to Brendan Rodgers, what he thinks about media. There are 3 kinds of media troops, and he's right about media. I think he's enough. Brendan Rodgers is enough for getting answer the same questions of these perverts in media, just running Celtic doing. Sorry, but it's not right, it's not right. Okay, all right. So next Celtic game will be on the 23rd of November. Oh, the wait, almost 13 days, man. Celtic, we are hurts. I love you, man, but seriously. Alright, so, as you know, I share with the fucking great news now, and how people see Celtic, how the great football legends see Celtic, especially, and then that was the captain of the RB Leipzig. He said that Celtic was attacking. They hadn't get any chance. That was great. That was fantastic, Celtic. And then I want to hear what Leo Messi said about Celtic, that one of the greatest footballers in the globe. So Messi said the games against Celtic were special, and I want to remember him at Celtic Park is a tough place to go. it's never easy to get a result there. We know it would get a tough game, but a drew and the Champions League, but everybody involved in those Barcelona Celtic games wants to go and play there again. We know we would get a tough game if we drew them in Champions League. It is the best atmosphere in Europe. We all know to experience that again. So Celtic is the most recognisable club in the world. Everyone wants to play for Celtic. Everyone wants to be a Celtic supporter. Almost everyone. No Rangers supporters. No, this fucking Raging Bear supporters. But I mean, it doesn't matter them. I'm not wasting my time talking about them. I waste my time talking about Celtic, but I'm only joking. Sorry, I love Celtic. Seriously, that's how I'm talking about them. That's how I comment matches of games for you as my dear fellow Celtic supporters, and my subscribers as well. So Celtic, woo! The best in the world, man. Club like no other. So as you know, on the 6th of one more thing about Celtic, on the 6th of November. Celtic celebrated the 137th anniversary, because as you know, Celtic was established by Father Walfrid on 6th of November, the exact date, 6th of November 1887. So Celtic was officially established. So it's Celtic had its anniversary, 137th anniversary. So on that day, on that day, Celtic was established in St. Mary's Church in the Carlton, Glasgow, Father Walfrid, to support poor Irish immigrants, poor Glaswegians as well. That means Celtic is for everyone. I'm honoured to be a Celtic fan. The club once again kicked off the campaign. We had donation for £10,000. We had a great manager. Celtic has Brendan Rodgers. I have to highlight this one, because it's a manager like no other. So as you know, troops, what I'm going to talk about just now is, as you know, my Glasgow. I'd love to, troops. Look, I suppose there are any one of you who remember the Glasgow schemes, or the Glasgow schemes, the Glasgow social housing, closest venues in Glasgow, ice cream wars. I suppose that there are some of you who remember that times that it wasn't too colourful. You should admit that. But what I want to tell you today is, something about Glasgow as well, but a darker side of Glasgow. But I think it's also pure. It's so precious talking about Glasgow. I feel pure proud, man. I feel pure proud talking about Glasgow, and the in every aspect, And I'm not just like, I'm not like everyone. I'm not like others. People don't understand Glasgow. People don't know. People don't want to know Glasgow properly. They don't want to go deeper to discover that Glasgow, that every face of Glasgow, every, image of Glasgow. Glasgow is truly fascinating, and, the fantastic city. You just have to look at Glasgow properly. And Glasgow is pure hard to love, trips. It's pure hard to love. But if you do fall in love with Glasgow, that stays with you forever. That stays with you forever, because Glasgow has something, pure special that calls you back no matter where you're from. So that's Glasgow. So do you know what I'm going to talk about? How social housing in Glasgow started. So I'd love to share with you that way. It'll be a wee bit of crime acts day. I'm going to talk about some crime today and the Glasgow social housing, Glasgow schemes. So it's a little bit darker Glasgow again. So can be crime. But I'd love to focus on Glasgow social housing just now, how it all started. Some of us remember the Glasgow schemes, how did they look like, maybe how dangerous they were. But I'd love to start with Glasgow social housing. So something unique is going on here. But tiny Glasgow with a population of less than 600,000 people, of which 37 live in the social housing, and over 100,000 associations. Most of these are community-based and that where granthuis Europe and among residents in other Western European cities. Housing associations are often generally not seen as partners of the community. What's going on here was that we can learn that back in I'll give a wee class on the interest in the history of Glasgow social housing. So stay tuned. Housing legislation in Western Europe cities emerged in the start of the 20th century. There was a pure housing quality overcrowding and then improved well doing pure in general. In many cities, housing became a local government responsibility, encouraged by legislation that increases a large housing shortages. Many of the building a quality social housing following the Second World War. Glasgow is post-industrial city. The Scottish Housing Act in 1919 entitled the Glasgow City Council to build public housing for larger working class population. The share council aimed that housing increased rapidly, making 67 of the city's housing stock in 1960. So even today, this is much higher shares than social housing than other cities throughout Britain. Some of us may remember that when the Industrial Revolution had started in Glasgow, Glasgow City Council had to build that so-called social tenements for more and more people, workers who came to Glasgow by ships and steamers. Because Glasgow was industrial powerhouse and was a lot of work, a lot of jobs, for people, and then they came to Glasgow and week by week, as you know, and then that Glasgow City Council, had problems. To build, proper houses, proper, tenements, and that quickly enough. So they built it quickly, so fast, so that the social tenements were pure quality, with no ventilation, no running water, not even lavvy, not even lightning, electricity. So people were struggling, but the rent was just £6. And that's how people came to Glasgow to because it was a job here, and then it was a very cheap house, very cheap bed called single ends. But that was something that was precious, and these tenements, about the social housing tenements, sense of community, strong sense of community, like no one else, like anywhere else, like nowhere else. So Glasgow had a strong sense of community. You should remember these troops. Even this social tenements like that, pure quality, pure everything. People were together. People spent time together. People playing on the streets. I mean, people were having a blather. Women just talking and hanging out the windows and talking and shouting. Boys playing on the streets of Glasgow. Football. Boys playing football on the streets of Glasgow. That was something. Growing up in Glasgow, and those days, it must be hard. But people and they went Spain. They their ways to entertain themselves. So that was great. That's how football has started as well. Boys playing football on the streets of Glasgow. Let's come back to Glasgow social housing. So, as you know, after the Second World War, that was the new that built council estates now. Were built on a small budget according to modernist principles. Mass housing estates were as you know, built as isolated neighbourhoods. And then as city green far away for the market city, but so far away for jobs. That I want to mention that these Glasgow schemes were built outside Glasgow, on the outskirts of Glasgow. So it was a way for everything, away for jobs, away for stores, away for shops, away for. It wasn't an easy access or no access at all to Glasgow. There's not even any bus, nothing. So people were isolated. That's how I was increasing violence, but I mentioned about that after. So a well-known examples neighbourhood the Gorbals, which is located on the south side of River Clyde, so south of Glasgow, right? So due to its location, it's close to industrial sites, the Clyde docks, the Gorbals were a home for many low-skilled workers during the industrialisation, but huge housing shortages and poor living conditions after the Second World War and encouraged Glasgow City Council to build massive housing in the 1960s. So that's a hetero, unprecedented scale. The estates was designed by modernist architect Basil Spence. As you know, troops. For many families who are moving into these new estates, new improvement of their residence rate and living conditions. As you know, people were, it was an act around 1866, Glasgow Improvement City Act, that also people started to demolish the Glasgow schemes and started to build these, skyscrapers. But it was a right choice to move people, maybe for one reason, move people from social tenements to these blocks, with these skyscrapers, and promise them luxurious conditions. We are lavvy, we are a bathroom, we everything, we access to everything. So that people just went there, people just moved there. So one example is a Red Road. Red Road was a luxurious one time. Red Road. One example is a Red Road was luxurious one time, but it wasn't. It turned out it wasn't at all. It was 100 or so crime incidents there, but that was just a mention. So no longer could they evicted an house on an house rents increased unexpectedly. So also basic electricity was made available. So very poor, however, just because they flattened, just been and the older ones often remained quite poor. So, and estates levies were sometimes still communal, located either outside their staircases. Buildings were poorly ventilated, causing damp and mold, and a combination of the poor estate quality and ongoing densification and continual access to jobs and in the services of the neighbourhoods became a huge civic problem. The Gorbals, for example, the Gorbals, went 2 decades were made with socialist dream quickly, turned back into 2 wards of planners, slum area. So in late 1970s and the 80s, the social Glasgow City Council started to demolish the problematic estates and alter restructure depraved areas. So at times that just been still had the people, regardless of the poor living conditions of many people, and they are supposed to, some estates that became their homes. It's one of the official I felt like their way tearing down a livable place. Therefore, residents group mobilised themselves, created alternative governance, model community-based housing association that is managed by they developed the local residents. The organisation applied to government funds to restructure, develop new houses. Since the 1970s, and the association was formed, the Glasgow has transferred most of their housing stock, but some of these organisations. So as a result, Glasgow has 100 housing associations, so co-ops a day. So governance structures to BHAs and was born up the old boards that came across the residents members and some associations that are in direction consist of trained former residents. So indeed, residents were quite positive about the management of their association and the inequality of their houses. So I was simply one who's the official proudly mentioned that residents know them personally. So interestingly, quality of social housing tenements is often better than this ordinary copied housing in the same neighbourhood. This is because the difference and the difference in socio-economic status and the mixed income are not very great, and under some mixed income neighbourhoods are often subsidised and the rich for us to a surgeon that West End to urban regions. So it was almost intriguing, man. It's not a voice up from this locals have been so critical developing the structure in a wide range of Glaswegian neighbourhoods. So the Gorbals provides a good example. Here a new Gorbals Housing Association up in major community area. And then collaboration with the Glasgow City Council, a housing developers who have demolished local estates and the new mixed income, and so the house firm groups are reasons that they attract here income groups outside. So the new developments for original great in the 1960s, mass estates, more houses, more have demolished. So the new Gorbals makes a new mixed tenure. They use the refurbished post-war later raise a couple of old high-rise square blocks. So what can we learn for Glasgow's community base model? What can we learn for that? For Glasgow social housing? Well, this is we should consider a drawback as well. I think, they strikes me as very existence as local includers create a culture of social inclusion of non-community members. They apply for social housing, SBHAs require that People have a bond with the area, be it through work, family, or residential history. There's a selection of the gate and there's a residential mobility. A social housing renters. Furthermore, associations are primarily and they concerned with health and the community. There's often quite hard lines with antisocial behaviour. So where do these people go? The second downside is my view on the financial. The CBHAs are expensive because the development schemes are the subsidies for owners. This is a Glasgow, so it causes major concern. And then as moment CBHA, and then as must face severe cuts in the near future. In my view, Glasgow's community-based housing model is a perfect example of people's power. Social community, man. Because community, social, sense of community in Glasgow is pure, strong. And the people were, like family I should see that the life in tenements and the life in this, there's social tenements, but life in tenements, these tenements. There is sandstone tenements, these tenements. I should say life in tenement strips. People were like family, and to keep your door shut was considered absurd. Everyone was having a plethora. It's it was just one big tenement family. It wasn't just. I think it was something precious, because people were together. People were were chatting to each other, having a plethora with each other, not just behaving like a stranger or something. So as a day. Of some sense of community, that strong bonds, making a strong bond with your neighbours. We are, so that was something great about Glasgow, and social, there's also a strong sense of community, So, the new troops, I want to focus on, look, maybe some of you remember Slums of Glasgow, the closest venues. I want to tell you something about it. Because how the slums of Glasgow or closest venues look like. So I put my traffic on the new for a wee while. And this is just me. Glasgow genuine. So as you know, troops. I love this about slums of Glasgow. How the closest venues looked like on the single lanes. I'd love to start with the very, very beginning because, Glasgow faced industrial revolution. When industrial revolution came to Glasgow, hundreds of people started to come here of job and a better flat and stuff. Glasgow Town Hall decided just to build the hundreds of social buildings, social tenements, some sort of venues where slums, where gates, wents. Went was just a corridor inside the building, very, very, very dark and with no lightning on. It was just a wind. It was characterized with a round staircase, which is in poor conditions in there. So, but I'll tell you something about it. So Glasgow City Council, Glasgow Town Hall, decided to build hangars, so the social buildings called the closest on venues, as I mentioned. But it's called anyway, or tenements. It was a problem. Well, these tenements were built very quickly because of people, hundreds of people. It was that overcrowding problem in Glasgow, so at that time. But it was a big problem. These tenements were built pure quickly, and the conditions were the worst in Europe. So Glasgow was a city which experienced industrial revolution, as I mentioned, and was called a second city of the empire. I suppose, some of you didn't know that this is Glasgow, was a centre for every business and trade, like it's just been shipyards, textile, chemical factories, locomotives production, cotton factories, breweries, distilleries, weavers and everything. So Glasgow was once blooming. It was a boom, and every kind of business but needed a job. You could come to Glasgow and you go to it. So, but as this is one more thing about hundreds of people from Northern Ireland, so Irish immigrants, half the population in Glasgow is Irish, as you know. And when the Highlands came to Glasgow to work in the Highlands, Northern Ireland was poverty, because Northern Ireland was a poverty and clearances. That's how they came to Glasgow to work, and I just been the house a bit. So at that time, I decided to come to Glasgow because Glasgow offered them a job and a gaff flat. It's left for a cheap rent, £6, as I mentioned. So the mere thousands of people came on ships to Glasgow. I I have to mention, I love to describe, maybe some of you don't know what single end is. So single ends were typical, they're very common in Glasgow, in that social tenements and these venues. So I love to describe it as a single end flats. So I have to mention that life that was in tenements weren't pure skish. I mean, it's not a counter. I mean, easy. That means easy. So people live in single end. Single end is a flat where just one room. So imagine one room. We can find a scullery, kitchen, scratcher, beds, chimney, wee pantry, and a hall. And we no lavvy in the bathroom. And they didn't have, we no running water. We no proper facilities. No? And they didn't have, these single ends didn't have running water. Because there were problems with water supplies in Glasgow. Because water was mucky. There's no access to them. So, because there are problems with supplies, water supplies in Glasgow, so during this revolution, you know. A bathroom was a lavvy. People shared lavvies in these social tenements, these venues, closest venues. They shared lavvies in between landings. Those lavvy were placed in between landings. So that means that 40 people or 80 people just use that lavvy, you know what I mean? There are hundreds of diseases in Glasgow, hundreds of diseases in social tenements because of dirt. Because everything was dirty, everything was smoky around you. The people sometimes didn't have access to water, so they didn't wash themselves. So there were no proper medications, proper something to cure your disease or something. So people died for cholera, typhus. So the hundreds of cholera and typhus outbreaks in Glasgow. So because of that muck and that dirt around. But also I mentioned that. So Wins played at the squares. People at a place was called squares, called circles. It was a place in St. Tenements. And Wins, as I mentioned, was a darker corridor just beside a went close with a circled. It was circle the staircase. So what make matters worse, Glasgow had to deal with hundreds of social problems, like say a number of people, overcrowding, and then diseases such as cholera, as I mentioned, typhus, of course they're polluted air, gangs, drugs, domestic abuse, homicides, and everything, crime assaults, knife assaults even. So this revolution caused all these problems. Venice and closes were pure dark, and these winds we passed in between Venice, as I mentioned, had no lights, no electricity on, and you had to look at. Glasgow was harmed by Industrial Revolution and hundreds of other events. So I'm going to mention about them next. So suffered enough. Glasgow suffered enough. So as I mentioned, in around 1868, Glasgow City Improvement Act was initiated. At that time, these old closest venues and social tenements were demolished. But if it's of Glasgow, interesting how people of Glasgow lived for that time, you should nip into People's Palace in Glasgow Green. This presents it's a great museum, People's Palace, because it presents the social history of Glasgow. So if you love Glasgow, if you're interested in social history of Glasgow and Glasgow's people, you should nip into the People's Palace. I know it's closed, but it will be opened again, reopened. So in 2027. But alright, if you love Glasgow, just do that. So I'd love to read it to you. Even one story. So look once again at this closest venues. So look how Gorbals look like. Gorbals. That's something. Gorbals were called the underworld slums at that time. So, as you know, trips, Gorbals were underworld Glasgow slums. You couldn't just. I mean, people living that time in the Gorbals remember that place very well. They had they have a great memories, older generations of Glaswegians, so you can listen to them and they can listen to hundreds of interviews with people who remember Gorbals as a pure brilliant place because of it was a poverty, poor conditions, but people were together, people spent the time together, people were entertaining, people were laughing, people were just meeting each other. So that was great sense of community, It wasn't just living in houses and bits with poor conditions, and that was something about people, some of the integrity, something about a sense of community, So I'd love to mention the new trips. It's me again. I'd love to mention quickly about life in Gorbals, because they were just living Gorbals and how Gorbals look like. The reality of Glasgow and the reality in Gorbals thread of Glasgow 1940 slums where 40,000 Scots existed in some of worst conditions of post-war Europe. Tenements blocks sprang in 1848 to provide homes for a city growing population of industrial workers and 1,000 folk from Italy, Ireland, areas of Scotland. So Gorbals were packed with 50,000 people. Can you imagine that one? Social tenements. So they have Glasgow docks in its factories. Homes were built quickly and cheaply, because it was not about the poor conditions, and became decrepit with filthy, mucky conditions, dilapidated conditions, and their poor residents. By the 1831, 85,000 people are cramped into one area. They were cramped in one area, just one area, just 152 acres. The Edinburgh contained to levies and slums were demolished after the Second World War, thanks to the 1954 Husnack tour blocks were their place in the 1960s. So troops, the poverty in Glasgow were unthinkable. It was a reality of thousands of in Glasgow's squalid tenements in the 1940s. So submarine images revealed the daily life that was daily people in the Gorbals district of over 50,000. The housing blocks sprang with the 1840s to provide the conditions for a bourgeois population of industrial workers. Conditions were appalling, dilapidated, overcrowding, and there was standardless sewage and water facilities inadequate. So residents would often live on 4, 6 or 7, 8 in the room, a third to a levy, 40 to a tap. So however, despite awful living conditions, as I mentioned, people of the Gorbals, not just Gorbals, but Glasgow, were known in Glasgow as the community spirit and togetherness. That community spirit, togetherness, a social sense of community. A sense of community, that was something, despite the poverty and deprivation, people will spend time together, so the people were together. So that was something, that was something great. So, trips. I want to mention I want to recommend you to that book. I suppose that No Means Say. It's a book about, it's a book about, as mentioned, it's about the story of Johnny Stark, son of the violent father, and the downtrodden mother, the razor king of the Glasgow's pre-porcelain and the world, the Gorbals. So the savage, near-truth descriptions, the raw character portrayals bring to life a story and a fascinating, authentic, convincing. So So I'd love to recommend that. If you haven't read it yet, so I really recommend that one. But that book as well, it describes the single ends, the social tenements in Glasgow. So let me read just for you that one fragment here. So, in the thick and stagnant darkness, John Stark lay awake, his wife slept beside him, and their youngest Wayne, and they whimpered, the crook in the arm. The door of cavity bait and barely ajar, for the night of a call, and the Wayne sat open the window, I get upon the street and dark, accustomed there, sewer stench of the house, that prefer that lay there and in a sort of cupboard. So, significantly close. That was a warm in the head of their 3 bodies now. So cavity baits are a common feature of Glasgow slums where they tenement dwellers take them on granted. The ordinary room and kitchen apartment, even the one-roomed single end, always include a cavity bait or beds. These beds are no more than windowless closets. Little tombs about the 5.5 feet by 3.5. Door if closest against the light bed flush in the wall, the room itself. So that was, if you want to read that book, truly recommend it. There's history of Glasgow gangs as well, so truly recommend it to you. I want to talk about a wee bit of Glasgow schemes. If I'm not going to tell you everything about Glasgow schemes, these Glasgow schemes, this Glasgow most dangerous areas, the day I finished that, a debate into 2 parts. So I'm going to talk about. I'm going to finish it in my next video. So let me start. Answer my question. Why Glasgow? Why Glasgow was defined as a murder capital of Europe and become the friendliest city? See what I mean? The contrasts between the Glasgow is a city with hundreds of contrasts. It just once Glasgow's got murder capital of Europe because of high crime incidents, and now Glasgow's voted the friendliest city in Europe, in the world. Every year the friendliest. How that happened? You may even wonder how that is, troops. How that is, because people really don't know how that is. So let me tell you a wee bit on that. As you know, in around 1960s, 1980s, up to 2000s, Glasgow's a murder capital of Europe. Hundreds of crime incidents, hundreds of the gang attacks. We are razor gangs. We had hundreds of pure dangerous gangs. Some of the streets of Glasgow were close. Some of the areas of Glasgow were no-go zones. As you remember, some of you maybe remember that Glasgow's a city of gangs as well. The streets of Glasgow are not that safe. That the crime and the gangs were so present at the streets of Glasgow. So people were, feared to go out at night, and I just don't be they attacked by the gang, or there were hundreds of square goals, hundreds of attacks. You couldn't feel safe on the streets of Glasgow. But let me tell you that some of you remember, I just watched a documentary about Glasgow violence, the Glasgow crimes, and that. Glasgow, murder capital of Europe. Oh, it sounds scary. I don't know. It may scared some people off, but I'm not going to do so. But I'm going to tell you about it because I'd love to know everything about Glasgow. I want you to know everything about Glasgow. So I wanted to present you that Glasgow. And people should stop that around Glasgow doing not knowing its history, not knowing Glasgow properly, not knowing Glasgow to the core. You know what I mean? So you have to understand Glasgow. I know Glasgow is pure hard to understand. Glasgow is pure hard to love. But if you do so, troops, if you do love Glasgow, you fell in love with Glasgow, you love Glasgow to the end, troops. You love Glasgow, trust me, because there's something in the city which is pure special. It's calls you back no matter where you're from. The Glasgow, it's a place like no other. So let me come back to the schemes. So Glasgow schemes were areas with no-go zones at the outskirts of Glasgow, sometimes isolated for, as I mentioned earlier, isolated for Glasgow, far away from Glasgow, no buses, no connection to Glasgow, no bus, no even stores, shops, anything. So people were isolated, they lived in a close area, so people wanted to be together as well, so they go out on the streets. They had a lot of free time, spare time, especially youth, youngsters, and they created gangs. That's how gangs were created, because younger people, they had a lot of free time, so nothing there to do. So they just joined gangs, as you know. So for that time, for the 1960s, I mean, crime in Glasgow was growing. Knife attacks, knife assaults, gang assaults, square goes. Some the people almost every day. Paramedics had hunters. A lot of job today. Attacks had to deal with. It wasn't a Scottish man. So as I mentioned, I love to tell you that in 2005 that the World Organization dubbed Glasgow the murder capital of Europe. There had been 83 homicides the previous year in that Glasgow region where gangs were known. their booths and leads culture. Exasperated police in Glasgow decided to rethink strategy, how to help the youth. They set up a violence reduction code VRU, guided by philosophy and the violence, the public health issue. So violent behaviour spreads from person to contain of a thing that terms transmission and the risk and the the risk that I'll just so the violent behaviour spreads from person to contain it, and I think there's the transmission and the risk symptoms and the causes. You can't just erase your way out of this problem. So meanwhile, over the past decade, Glasgow has seen as I mentioned, they didn't abandon traditional policing. Shortly after launching the VRU policy direction up a successfully campaign the legislation increase, maximum instances of carrying knife, but increasingly they also emphasize the interruption of prevention of violent behaviour. So after they intervened in the hospitals, working with partners, schools are helping former offenders get back to work. So meanwhile, over the past decade, Glasgow has observed that 16% drop in the homicides, knife attacks. So crime in Glasgow has fallen to historic lows. So people and streets of Glasgow are safer than they were a couple of decades ago. So in 60s, 80s, 1960s, 80s, the 2000s. So people in Glasgow are safer just now. So the notion that the public health approach may contribute to the decline has brought officers to that field. So as one of the politicians said, who's a Glaswegian, and he said that but no, I mentioned that after. Maybe. I'd love to mention to you that. Hamza Yusuf, he said, just absentee and the recent open 62nd Street Arrow Cafe, staffed by the members, so people don't want to risk offending. He mentioned that there's not a place in Glasgow that I wouldn't go. See? And they're just involved with Glasgow anti-violence efforts. See, they can see the difference it is making. The VRU. Eddie, 53, spent more than 20 years in prison before joining VRU. He now works as a programme as a navigator, a patrolling emergency wards in Glasgow Royal Infirmary on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. Big days for violence and hopes finding people at the reachable moments. So we bring pink t-shirts and I'm not threatening that I say sometimes that I just contain that 24 hours and they don't remember me or my name, but I remember a pink t-shirt. So I want to say as upset by what's happening in Glasgow. That broken jaws, broken cheekbones, slashed across the face, called Glasgow Smiles. So upset by this incidents, the doctors and the nurses, dentists, paramedics have now in schools and the Glasgow share stories about the consequence of knife crime, including their own first-hand experiences of patching people back together. So what else? So as you know, he said about 550 people through a program of various employment schemes, estimated that 85% have gone, they find other jobs. So as you see, Glasgow has changed. And you can't see Glasgow through the lens, through what others are saying. Media distorted the image of Glasgow. It's not just a wee bit, especially English media and English people distorted the image of Glasgow. So people, they don't want to come to Glasgow. Why? And why Glasgow became the friendliest one? And then it was a campaign, trips. It was a campaign initiated by the current Lord Provost of Glasgow. He was Michael Kelly, called Glasgow Mesbear with a Mr. Smiley, and he had to do something to. He said that solving problems it's something a long run issue, but he had to do something to attract people to Glasgow once again. So it was a Michael Kelly. And he suggested a campaign, Glasgow Makes Better, with a Mr. Smiley, smiling face, not. So in around 1948, Dr. Michael Kelly, Glasgow's fourth provost at the time, provided much of energy to realise the site. Glasgow, the legacy was permanent change in the attitude towards Glasgow, because exposing the reality rather than a rather distorted image. People at outside that and change the media's perception. So the site, people began to look on the proper light to be able to make economic decisions based on that, and then they got investment, they got employment. So we turned the economy around and legacy still day and felt day. Friendliness and warmth. Within 5 years of Mr. Happy, there's now to a Scottish saying, the Roy Wizards had put their seals of approval and progress being made by Glasgow, So the Queen opened the Barrows Collection in Pollock Park. Prince was inaugurated in 1888 at International Garden Festival. This took place over the derelict former Dockland, a great success and mixture of cultural events, attractions such as Coca-Cola, Roller Coaster Man. As Interpret reported, went in the 50th as their experience 3 years after Glasgow became European City of Culture, marking a year of events which further had cement of new image. Then Mr. Kelly said with Mr. Happy, you couldn't have been without Glasgow smells better, Glasgow smells better even, because a campaign allowed people to look at Glasgow in accurate light and not particularly positively, but to access to say, just look at Glasgow, the architect, the people, the warmth of Glaswegians, they are so friendly, so cheerful. So even weather in Glasgow doesn't matter. So, no, it doesn't matter trips. Even when passion down in Glasgow, it doesn't matter at all, because it's Glaswegians who warmer the atmosphere up. So that's something great with Glasgow and with us, the people. People make Glasgow, have the slogan just now, people make Glasgow. It's definitely, Glasgow is the best city. The Glasgow is the grandest, they know. Glasgow grows on you. Glasgow is the something. Glasgow has something. Glasgow is pure special, Glasgow has fantastic architecture, great. Pure brilliant, great, fantastic historical heritage. As you know, the accent, the local accent is very curious, linguistically, so sexy, and then which is the banter as well, second to none. Glasgow banter, all the Glaswegians always cheer you up when you dance. So it does like Glasgow is the fucking best, man. Don't you see it? City with character. The handers all. Glasgow had a power, a character, something that drags you, that calls you, that grows on you. You can't just compare. Glasgow second to none. So it's Celtic, you know what I mean? So I suppose we have not enough time, but I wanted to mention that why Glasgow is pure heart, say. Glasgow is pure heart. To understand, to love, because of the violent past as well, and the hundreds of declines, and the hundreds of things like that. But Glasgow is pure brilliant. Glasgow is beautiful. But you just have to just be able to see it, troops. So stop, run Glasgow down, please, and look in Glasgow, at Glasgow in proper light, and then give it a bash to understand this amazing city, because Glasgow is amazing. Glasgow is hard to spot its beauty and charms, first of all. Straight away. But if you do so, if you understand Glasgow, if you want to know Glasgow better, Glasgow opens up in front of you. I know Glasgow is hard to understand. Glasgow has pure, solid, pure heart, the past. But if you do understand these trips, if you do, so you fell in love in Glasgow, trust me. And what I want to do, I want to talk about Glasgow schemes, areas soaking up with crime and no-go zones. But I think, I'm going to talk about it, next time, because we have. I wanted to start for Easterhouse, but I think I just mentioned it as a bit after, but Sorry, troops, but it's too long, and I'm not going to make it as a fucking longer video for you, because I wanted to. Next time and next video, I'm going to talk about Glasgow scheme. So sorry that it's not a day, but it's too long. So I'm going to talk about Glasgow schemes areas, so can we cream and no zones. So it'll be I'm going to talk about Easterhouse, where I've left, by the way, for a wee while. And then I'm going to talk about Drumchapel, Castle McBallanarg, Possil, Pollock. This area so can be crime and no zones. Once pure dangerous. So be prepared for the and for another. Something Celtic surprise. Not a match commentary because there's no match next week, but I'd love to. There's some for you, but alright. So be prepared for you. But I'd love to tell you that because of the poverty and deprivation, the most beautiful sides of Glasgow shine that much brighter, don't you think? Alright. So Glasgow genuine we are traffic con wishing you pure brilliant night and see you next Sunday.